Hello everyone, today is day 1 of our dissection. We're going to be working with an earthworm. Please turn to page 6 and find the diagram at the bottom. We're going to highlight all of the external structures that I'd like you to find before opening the body cavity. I'd like you to find the mouth and prostomium on the anterior end. I'd like you to locate the segments and then feel for the setae, which should feel kind of rough. I'd like you to look for the septum, the sperm or genital groove, and the clitellum. And then on this lower diagram, we should be able to find the mouth, each segment or metamere, feel for the setae, and then definitely locate the clitellum, because that's going to be the landmark we use to know exactly where to cut so that we can look at the internal structures. This portion right here just represents part of the earthworm that has been removed from the diagram because it's simply too long to fit on the paper. And then I'd like you to find the anus on the posterior end. When we look at our earthworm, just zoom out a little bit, I'd like you to begin by finding the anterior end or the front of the earthworm, and we can do this by finding the fleshy bump over its mouth called the prostomium, and we can very gently probe that back so we can find the opening, which leads to, of course, the mouth. The posterior or back end has a small hole where solid waste is expelled, and that's, of course, called the anus. Each of these segments that you can see in the earthworm is separated by something called setae. About 1/3 of the way back from the mouth, you should see a thicker and smoother section of the worm. This is called the clitellum. It's also lighter in color, and it's involved in reproduction. You guys read about that last night for homework. I want you to notice that the rounded dorsal or back surface, is a little bit darker than this flatter ventral or belly surface of the earthworm. If you run your finger along the ventral side, you should be able to feel the setae, which are these little bristles that help the earthworm move through the soil. And you can also use a magnifying glass to look at these. I'd like you to use a magnifying glass to help you find the other structures that we highlighted on page 6. When we look at page 7, we're not going to highlight anything on this page because what I've done is create a list with some bullets right next to it so you can check them off as you find them. When we open up the earthworm, we're going to pin the skin in place, making sure that we angle the pins away from the earthworm so that we can find all of these structures. When I am opening the body cavity, I want to make sure that I hold my earthworm in place by using some of the T-pins and keep this ventral or belly side up towards me. I really want to focus on, get this into view, the anterior end and specifically the clitellum, which we can see right here. We're going to start our incision a little bit lower than that, about 1/2 inch, and then we're going to make our way up towards the anterior end. So when I pin this into place, angle the pin away from me, I can use my forceps and my scissors to gently pinch the skin and make my first incision. And we're going to make this incision so that we can put the scissors right into the earthworm. And remember, this is really small, really delicate. We don't want to angle the scissors down in. We want to really cut like up along the surface. And as we go, we can pin the skin back. So I'm not going to go all the way, but I'm just going to show you how you can make your incision and then use the T-pins to help you open up the earthworm and pin the skin back so you can see exactly what is on the inside. So what I'd like you to do is continue all the way up to the prostomium or the mouth, pinning it back as you go, and then use your diagram and try to find all these structures that I have listed for you guys.